Official, they're calling him not only the person of the year, but also the most influential person in Europe. And it's notable because there have been a number of people who have been quick to rush to social media, calling out this decision, saying that they don't agree with it, and also referring to the hypocrisy surrounding it. And that includes Fox News host Tucker Carlson. Take a listen to what he had to say about it.
Zelensky has no interest in freedom and democracy. In fact, Zelensky is far closer to Lenin than to George Washington. He is a dictator. He is a dangerous authoritarian who has used $100 billion in U.S. tax dollars to erect a one-party police state in Ukraine. And that's not an overstatement. Over the past year, Zelensky has banned opposition parties. He shut down critical media by force. He's arrested his political opponents. He has sent soldiers into churches. Zelensky's secret police have raided monasteries across Ukraine, even a convent full of nuns. And in the face of this, the Biden administration has said nothing, not one word.
So Time Magazine's glowing praise of Zelensky in this article is really trying to overshadow the fact that the Western media has openly acknowledged the ways in which he has targeted anyone he views as a threat. And that includes everyone from officials within his own government to churches to entire media organizations. So there's a lot that is going unsaid with that title that he is now getting.
Well, and talking about Time Magazine, last year they published an article warning about the apparent threat that's posed by the far-right Azov battalion to European security, and that was under Zelensky's sort of tenure as president. What's changed since then?
Right. And, you know, it's interesting. That's another one of those things that they kind of quietly leave out, which is the ways in which those white nationalist extremists have really gained even more power under Zelensky's watch. Now, speaking of that article that Time Magazine did publish back in 2021, let's take a look at what they had to say about the threat that was posed there.
The Azov movement, a far-right group that has increasingly been linked to violence around the world.
FBI agents say he expressed a desire to travel to Ukraine to fight with a far-right paramilitary group.
At least one member of an American hate group also trained in Ukraine with Azov Battalion.
Now, that article was especially notable because it brought up the ways in which there were some figures at the time calling on the U.S. government to be aware of who it was funding within the Azov battalion, and also to pay attention to the fact that this militia has brought in around 17,000 foreign fighters in 6 years from 50 countries. So that threat that they were warning of appears to be no more.
Well, sort of staying with the same topic, Google's published its list of most searched for names and searches in Ukraine itself. And although Zelensky has been named Time Person of the Year, it appears that within Ukraine itself, he's not one of the most searched for people on Google. Can we read anything into that?
Well, it certainly is a reminder of the ways in which Time is basing this off of, right? They're not going off of the most popular person necessarily, and they're also clearly not going on the streets of Ukraine and asking them who they believe is their person of the year. Instead, they are saying this is the person of the year based on how the Western media views it, and this is very much an indicator as we see that title handed down.